Good morning, guys. We're at the Saigon High-Tech Park, where the Opella R&D Center of Vietnam is located. It's the state-of-the-art factory. All the R&D folks are here too. And today we'll be interviewing Carol and Stewart, the AMEA president for Opella. So let's go take a look inside. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Vietnam Innovators podcast. As we reach 500 episodes of this program, I just want to give a big thanks to everyone for following along. We hear your comments, we hear your feedback, and we want to continue delivering stories that matter to you and share some of the on-the-ground kind of stories that we're hearing as well to deliver the best of Vietnam business to you guys. Today, we're in a different setting. Carol Ann Stewart, she's the president of Asia Pacific for Opella. Opella used to be part of the Sanofi group, but has now become its own, and I'll let her explain in a little bit. She's visiting from the Asia Pacific headquarters today to Vietnam, and we're shooting at their, I would say, state-of-the-art flagship kind of Vietnam headquarters for R&D. So we're very happy to be able to showcase that today and even take a factory tour later today as well. Carol Ann, welcome. Well, actually, welcome to me, actually. I'm in the Opella headquarters today, so welcome to Vietnam.
Thank you so much. I'm thrilled to be here, and really thanks for taking the time, not just to meet with us, but to come to our incredible factory and development center.
Yes.
We're really proud to share it with you.
I think the factory kind of opened 5 years ago, I want to say.
Yeah.
It's been a while.
Yes.
I forget exactly when.
Even longer.
Longer than that.
Yes.
And I would say it's not gotten a lot of coverage for whatever reason. But there are a lot of kind of highlights about the center that we want to go through today and learn more about. And
with pleasure.
Vietnam is not just a manufacturing place; it's an innovation hub. So
agreed.
We'll dive into that.
Agreed.
Carol Ann, firstly, let's go through your career path. I mean, you've been here, you've been there, you've been everywhere on behalf of Opella and Sanofi as well in the past. What brought you to this role?
So sincerely, Hao, the job I'm doing today is my ultimate dream job. I have the privilege to lead Asia Pacific, Middle East, Africa, so everywhere from beautiful Japan all the way down to Tunisia. And I love the diversity of this region and this job, including incredible Vietnam. I started my career as a sales rep, carrying the bag into pharmacies in Bonnie, Scotland, where I'm from.
Okay.
And my dad always told me, if you want to be successful in business, you should carry the bag and sell first. Then you'll be taken seriously. And I think it was wise advice. And from there, I've worked sales, marketing, category, innovation, business development, all the way to general management. And for the last decade or so, I've been running businesses in different parts of the world, Hao. So I'm really, really fortunate to have gotten to work in places like Hong Kong, to Panama, to Colombia, to Poland, to Shanghai, to Australia. And what I feel so fortunate is to be in an industry that every single day I feel like I'm doing something a little bit positive to help the communities that we live in. I flirted with going to maybe handbags or champagne, which I love. But I thought, no, I would rather work in an industry that helps. So when I look back on my career, I know I've done something good for the society we live in.
That's amazing. I mean, Scotland, it sounds like, it's its own place, I would say. Back then, did you ever imagine being a young professional that you would be in the role today? Was it part of the plan, or you just kind of go step by step?
My dad was quite adventurous. His only qualification was O-level woodwork, but he was more of an entrepreneur and tried different things. So as I grew up, he worked in places like Russia, Vancouver, Paris. So I saw my dad going to different places And I think that inspired a thought that it was possible. And as I matured, I realized that I wanted to be skillful at my craft, which at the time was marketing. My degree was marketing and finance. But I wanted to see, could I be successful outside my own culture? And that's what took me first to Hong Kong. And from there, I never looked back.
Yeah.
So I now haven't lived in Scotland for over 20 years, but I still call it home.
Yeah, wonderful. I want to center us on Vietnam a little bit. You're here with, I think, 60 of your other colleagues during the Innovation Day, Innovation Week, which is a key word today.
Yeah.
Why did Opella choose Vietnam as its sole Asia kind of R&D hub? What made it so special that, hey, we're going to put our flag here, we're going to build a team here that's specialized in R&D?
Great question. So you're right, we've got about 60 people from all functions and from all across AMEA this week, purely focusing on how we can innovate in the pursuit of enabling self-care. Because today, Hao, globally, out of every 3 people that suffer, only 1 person treats. And a lot of it is because they don't know, or we've made it too complicated as an industry because we were born out of pharma. So we chose Vietnam first because it's the heart of AMEA. And this year we have 3 of these events across Opella globally, 1 here, 1 in France, and 1 in America. And the reason we've chosen Innovaction, because it's about innovation, but also action. There's no point having great ideas if you, as the consumer, never see them. So we chose here because of the vibrancy of this incredible country, the dynamism of the people, the agility of the country. I haven't been here for 2 years. And as I look around Ho Chi Minh City, there's buildings I don't even recognize that have just sprung up. And I see the change. And to me, that is your wonderful culture is something that already embodies an innovative spirit. So I'd say the people were one reason we chose here, sincerely. The second reason is we have, as you will see, a huge manufacturing site of over 7 hectares.
Okay.
And it made a lot of sense to build our development center to be co-located with the factory so that they could work hand in hand and ensure seamless integration and ensure we build and develop high quality products for Vietnam, but also for beyond. So what we are doing is we now export from here to like 12 countries.
Wow.
Not just for here. Okay. But Vietnam itself is an incredible market. It's worth in category sales over $2.5 billion. It's growing nearly 9% every year, even with the current madness in our world. And as Opella, we are your #1 consumer healthcare company. And it just felt like absolutely the right ingredients that if we're going to innovate for AMEA, it must be Vietnam.
Out of those 60 colleagues that you have here, do you know how many of them are coming here for the first time?
Oh, gosh. Great question. No, I don't. I will ask when I go back.
I imagine, because you mentioned everywhere from Tunisia to Japan to, I think, Oceania you mentioned too. So I'm sure a lot of them have been thinking about maybe visiting here.
True.
I've only met 1 other Tunisian person in my 10 years here.
I have 2 for you.
That's amazing. Yeah, I mean, no, it's just like we're bringing, in a way, this Innovation kind of program that you have, Vietnam to the world to Vietnam. So it's showcasing, hopefully, the best of what Vietnam has to offer in terms of not just the cuisine and the travel that people know about, but also another side of the country, which is this factory, the kind of people that are making it happen.
I think it's a great point. I'm looking around the room. I think you're probably right. Probably half have never been here. But I'm sure they'll be back after this.
Yeah, somehow delight and have them discover something new about Vietnam they didn't expect. Can you share a few examples and stories of some of the people behind, this R&D hub? I'm sure it's not just Vietnamese talent here, but global talent that's bringing new ideas, expertise to the country that hopefully others can learn from. Are there any folks that you want to share about, or just stories in general?
I think what I'm excited to say is the leader of our DC is a fantastic local Vietnamese talent called Loan.
Okay.
And whilst it's great to have diversity and bringing some foreigners like myself into the team, I think the more we can also develop and grow the local talent truly matters. More in my commercial organization with the ASEA team, of which Vietnam is part of, the leaders there have done a great job of exporting talent out of Vietnam to get great experience. 2 of the talents are just back from assignment in Japan.
Okay.
And bringing them now home with a greater experience. So not a permanent move like maybe you and I have done, but like a short-term assignment. And you see immediately the growth in their mindset, their ability to look beyond. So Tin was working in marketing in Japan, and he had to change how he approached. He maybe couldn't talk as fast because of English was not so strong in Japan. Had to understand the consumer insight was different there from here. And I just think the power of that has made him now a stronger leader, or a young leader, to be a greater talent for the future. For the R&D center today, it's mostly local talent, sincerely, but their manager is based in Paris. So we have, Loan has what shall I call it, a multicultural matrix, which I think can enrich her growth too.
I think that's one of the values that you guys can deliver to your teams as well. Like they're going to have a lot of different kind of diversity of experiences and knowledge to kind of lean from. I will also mention, I have a lot of overseas Vietnamese friends who are Vietnamese nationals, but they choose to study and live abroad. And their overriding impression is like, hey, if I came back home, I can't get a job here that I like.
Oh, really?
Like I have a lot of friends who are like studying biotechnology, anything medical related, and some are like actual scientists. Wow. They're like PhDs, and they're like, how I would never come back home to Vietnam because there's no opportunities here. But I think there's just not enough knowledge about this. I mean, you guys are one hub, and there's other opportunities out there in the country too, but you are hiring R&D positions quite a lot all the time. Like what kind of roles are they? Because in a factory, there's logistics and supply chain, but there's also like pharmaceutical discovery, kind of field research, I imagine.
We aren't the hard drugs. We're not curing cancer or anything like that. So I would say
preventative care.
More preventative and more treating like simple ailments in your everyday life, that whether it's your allergies or your cough, or you need more calcium to strengthen your bones or energy for your day. So maybe not for your high scientist friends, but if people like me that want to make a difference to people's everyday life, the development center here absolutely has analytical teams that are looking at formulations and process and how to do it better. They are looking at ideation and creation. But even right before that, we try and get our scientists involved with the consumer. So one of the things that the team developed was our first body wash for lactacid or lactacid, our skin health brand. And Loan's and the teams here did it from idea. They got in front of the consumer themselves to shelf. And they've built now a sensory capability. So we have sensory scientists looking at how things feel, absorb, smell, touch. So there's different types of science. And the other one that I love is simple science of real world evidence, where they look to see what's happening with our products in the real world, to see how could we improve it, or is it working better than it was, that we could then make claims to say, this is 2 times stronger than we thought or faster than we thought. So I wouldn't say it's for your high scientists, but we're always looking to innovate on how, I don't know, fexofenadine for your allergies could be absorbed into your system faster, better, in the best way possible. So continuous improvement, simple innovation, and people, the scientists that have a talent to communicate science in a way that it's simple. Because some of my dear science colleagues, you can say, please tell me it as if you're talking to my mum, so that I can understand the science. And translation's important.
You could say that that's the biggest need in Vietnam right now. So we're here in Ho Chi Minh City.
Yes.
Everything's, quite normal, I would say. If you go to other parts of the country, let's say in Hanoi, for example, the construction is enormous. They're doing huge innovation for renovation of infrastructure, building new projects. And if you're reading the news right now, actually, everyone's being affected, their health, their day-to-day health.
Oof.
And I feel like ordinary Vietnamese just don't know how to respond to that.
Yeah.
Like they're putting face masks on, which are like the very basic. But what are those preventative kind of measures that people can take?
Yeah.
There's perhaps an opportunity for education about that too.
You're absolutely spot on. Because today, globally, as I mentioned, 2 out of 3 people don't treat their symptoms or their concerns because they just don't know how to do it.
Yeah.
And sincerely, I think it's partly our industry's fault because we were born, most of us, from pharma.
Yeah.
That we need to be, we call it FMCH. We want to be fast-moving consumer health.
Yes,
we need to be more consumer-centric and make the science we talk about simpler so that you can choose the right thing to help solve your problems. And even in partnership with the Strategy and Policy Unit for Health in Vietnam, we're working with them today on healthcare, self-care literacy. Because if we can communicate better to help everyone understand, they can treat and they don't have to go to the doctor. They can go and chat to their pharmacist and get what they need. But I feel we have a duty of care as an industry, as well as the government, to help people help themselves.
Okay. Yeah, key point, prevention versus treatment.
True. Both. We're on both sides.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
I want to move to what innovation really means for consumer health. So you brought up this interesting term that I've seen more applied to fast-moving consumer goods.
Exactly.
Consumer healthcare, that's a new category.
Indeed.
And I think Opella has been the one, I think, kind of leading that term in a way, in the sense that you guys are the first to bring that up. What does that mean exactly, FMCH?
It's about bringing the best of FMCG and the best of pharma together. So we will always be rooted in great science and great quality products that meet their needs. But the bit we need to add to Opella is much more of that, be it consumer first thinking, right through to supply chain management and OTIF. That wasn't in our DNA originally. And I think what FMCG do brilliantly is that focus on the consumer need and focus on making things simple and easy to understand. And I think we can learn a lot from that. The other area, when you look around your pharmacy, right, it's mostly boxes with strips, maybe the odd gummy or a liquid. Yeah. You look on other FMCG categories, they are innovating at pace, be it on packaging, improvements, flavors, smells, textures. Our industry's been, what shall I say, a little slow.
Yeah, it's not approachable. It looks too fancy or unnecessary or even expensive. But if you can package it in a way that's more friendly and break down the barriers, basically.
That's exactly our mission, is to put health in the hands of more consumers by making self-care as simple as it should be. So my boss often talks about, I can show my daughter a YouTube tutorial how to make tiger makeup, but I can't figure out what's the best thing to take for my allergies. Or do I have a cold?
Wow, okay.
You know, it's as an industry, we haven't made it simple. And that's something we really want to break through with that more FMCH mindset.
Yeah. No, it's true. It's not just the product itself, but that customer journey, that experience. Like for me, the experience of going to a pharmacy is it's not exactly like something I look forward to.
Oh.
I will have to admit, it's very reactionary.
True,
but in recent months, I've been using Pharmaton a little bit better.
Oh, thank you so much. Keep me in a job.
No, it's like, what are those products and that customer journey that can make it more approachable. And
true.
I will say in Vietnam, like for example, one of your partners, you have many partners here on the pharmacy side, but like Long Châu or Pharma City, they really are like part of the community now.
Right.
They're like part of the neighborhood.
True.
So for example, in Vietnam, they have a lot of these mom and pop shops that are like on the ground floor of somebody's house. They live upstairs kind of thing. And it's somehow been a bit more professionalized now, where these pharmacies are now embedded in the neighborhood, but with a slightly more, I guess you could say, trusted kind of brand in front of it as well.
I agree.
Not just mom and pop, which is also very essential. But
Long Châu, I mean, I really admire them as a company when we talk innovation, and given their tech backing.
Yes.
They're a fascinating organization. And even in my 5 years in the region, seeing how they've grown and developed has been really inspiring. So our partnership with industry and government, I think, really matters. Like as a total ecosystem, how can we help raise self-literacy? And to your point, the neighborhood aspect in Vietnam and being able to go downstairs to the pharmacist you've known for years is critical, because going to the doctor can be difficult. Can I get an appointment? Can I afford an appointment? But if we as industry as well can help professionalize the pharmacy experience by educating on ailments so that their staff are even more qualified to help you, that's also a role that we truly want to play. It's not just healthcare, self-care literacy for you and me and your mum. It's also for the pharmacist and the pharmacy staff, so that you get the best service and the best solution. Indonesia, for example, the team have a collaboration with a company called Swipe RX, which is all about that pharmacy assistant community and educating them so that they can be more professionalized in the care they give to Indonesians. So a lot we can do to help.
Caroline, I want to also touch upon, you mentioned literacy and awareness of these products. How is online content, social media content, changing the game for you guys? Have you guys explored that a bit more? Because I know part of the legacy history of a pharmaceutical company is that it's hard to communicate, let's say, a vaccine on social media, right? But now with allergy medicine or a cough medicine, stuff like this, this is a little bit more, or not a little bit, hopefully a lot more approachable. Have you guys seen a change in how you guys communicate, and even for consumer kind of knowledge, has it changed as well?
Oh my goodness, yes. I'm sure from your own habits, whether it's Dr. Google or Dr. ChatGPT now, the consumer behavior in the search for health information has completely changed. And they're much more informed than ever before. So we must be where the consumer is. So that focused on the digital media ecosystem is critical. It can vary by brand, depending what type of consumer you're talking to, whether the social media platforms or whether it's more of a Facebook or a social selling on TikTok. It can vary distinctly by the brand and the category, but absolutely, we must be there because that's where your consumers are. The difference versus a normal FMCG product is we are more regulated. So we need to be thoughtful around how we do it and make sure we do it in the right and appropriate way. But we must be there, Hao, because that's where our consumers are. And it's how they're getting information. And sometimes it's wrong is the other part.
I was about to say, ask like misinformation, like how much of a problem is that in the space? And could you maybe explain what you guys have done about that?
Yeah, I think we respond mostly when consumers respond on our products. So if a consumer is talking on one of our platforms on Instagram, we will respond directly with medical professionals trained to answer any questions or misinformation. At this stage, we're not going out publicly myth-busting elsewhere.
It's too much.
It's a lot to take on. But I think we want to be seen as brands, as a trusted source of information, Vietnam and beyond, that when we are talking, they can fully believe in what we say because of who we are and where we came from. But it is a challenge. There's a lot of noise out there, and I think it'll continue to be.
Yeah. I also want to note for the audience, the sister company in a way, I don't know if that's how you would call it, but Opella's sister company, Sanofi, is a very well-known brand in Vietnam.
It is.
I think if you go to any pharmacy, you can see on the packaging, it still says Sanofi.
It still is, yes.
Yeah, could you tell a little bit about how Opella's kind of, it's only 1 year, I know, but maybe a little bit about how the branding and the packaging to the end consumer will evolve over the coming years? Is that on the way? It depends on the country, I'm sure.
True, it is. It's evolving and depends on the regulator. So you're right, we've had our 1 year anniversary as Opella. And you're also right that we've stayed in bed with Sanofi.
Yeah.
They were going to completely let us go. But I think once they saw what could be possible on our own, they've kept 48% of the shares.
Okay, yeah.
So in some ways, it's kind of a big compliment because they can also now see the potential if we're on our own in the industry we compete in rather than lost inside. But in terms of the name changes, it is entirely country by country and regulatory authority by regulatory authority to how soon you can change your name and how soon you can file. And then there's practical things like packaging runouts, and we care about the environment. We're not going to just change it and throw away hundreds of boxes. We will do it when the moment's right, because our vision is be the best FMCH company in and for the world.
Yes. Yeah.
And the for truly matters, because we are the first global certified B Corp company in the world. And that sustainability matters. So you may see Sanofi on the pack for a while longer, but for very good reasons.
Okay, yeah. Let's talk about self-care. Online I see a lot about taking care of oneself, being a focus. Longevity is another thing. That's something very relatable these days.
Very true.
Is it a real mindset shift happening though, or is it still trendy? Is it just a TikTok video? Could you elaborate on that? How do you see that evolving?
You're right. It's the hot trend of today. I think this one though will stay. I don't see it as like a cider vinegar, which kind of came and went.
Yeah.
And I think that's ultimately due to the fact all of us globally are living longer and we're more health aware. So I think it's still quite early in the science. And it's not a big part of the industry yet, but I think the consumer engagement in longevity and maximizing your health is starting younger and younger.
Yeah.
And it is because we're all living longer. And that's not just here, it's globally. So for me, the science behind longevity still needs to mature. So we are looking at it and we're looking at what's true and not true and where could we play to support that science. Because that is genuinely exciting. Yeah. But we want it to be believable. We want to make sure it works, because you need things at the right dose to make it work. Yeah. So
it reminds me of another term, protein maxing. Have you heard of this? Are you guys investing in that space at all, or
not
is that
specifically?
Not specifically. Yes. Have you heard of this term?
Yes.
Though?
Yes.
All my friends who are also interested in longevity and health in general have also been kind of looking into that. For the audience, if you don't know what this term is, it's basically eating as much protein as possible. I think young people in particular are really into that trend. There's ice cream and bars.
It's in soft drinks, even in America now.
No, exactly. Yeah.
But apparently the next thing's going to be fiber for your viewers. We're hearing that'll be the next big thing.
Yeah. Okay.
But protein, you're right, is everywhere, but not for Opella as of yet.
Where are Vietnamese consumers in that journey? I know you cover this huge market, AMEA. Vietnam is a huge chunk of the business as well, though. Could you comment more specifically about where Vietnamese consumers on that journey? What have you been hearing from your partners, your team here?
Well, we have a brand in Vietnam called Magne B6 Corbière.
Okay.
And it's not a brand our local team had focused on particularly there. We have much bigger brands like Calcium Corbière or Enterigermina. And this brand started to grow, double digit, 20+%.
Okay.
And we're like, what's going on? And it's entirely driven, in my mind anyway, partly through the HCP and the doctor, but also through social media. Magnesium glycinate has been everywhere, certainly on most people's socials, be it for your stress, your sleep, or your muscle recovery. So we're seeing the influence that started, I don't know where, I assume probably America.
Yeah.
And it's like the globalization of the world through social media trends. And that's something that is happening here without us actually lifting a finger.
Yeah.
They're picking up on trends that matter to the consumer here, because people work hard here.
Yeah.
They are stressed. Everyone's striving to be better. So it makes perfect sense
It's
why
like an
Magni
evolution
B6.
of the country as, people have more income.
You're right.
I mean, it's a global trend going on,
Yeah.
right? So it's directly correlated with like stress management.
Yes, you're totally right.
And self-care for that too, not just the treatment part. Like I was reading just online the other day actually about how this whole trend of like recovery is becoming important, and part of that is self-care, right?
Yes.
You can actually control that. It's not a reactive.
It's true, and it's a critical part for your whole body to be its best, whether it's sleep or rest,
Yeah.
which I'm sure both of us probably should do
Yes.
more of, I'm
No,
sure,
100%.
but you're right.
I want to talk about this. This is another kind of note that my team has prepared. I'm sure your team at Opella Vietnam knows too. Vietnamese consumers tend to trust their local pharmacists,
Yes,
their
agreed.
doctors, more than self-directed health decisions. As we just heard, this is slightly changing. Is that a barrier? Is that an opportunity for Opella now? This whole trust with the pharmacy and the doctor?
Yeah.
Is that an opportunity? And if so, how are you guys managing that?
I think it's an opportunity for us as a business or the whole industry, but I think it's also a strength of Vietnam that the pharmacist is trusted, because in other countries, it's not always the case. Sometimes they're seen too much like business people.
Okay, I
rather
see.
than
They're pushing one thing more than the other. Okay.
Rather than truly supporting the consumer that walks through their doors. So I think in Vietnam, the fact they're still such a trusted player is really something to be proud of. And the opportunity for us is how to support the pharmacists and the pharmacy staff to be even more educated around the science of the body, the products they sell, how they differ, to give a better consumer experience when they walk in. So you have that dynamic of some things, like if there's babies involved, the doctor is still probably your key point of influence. If it's maybe a cough or cold, the pharmacist would play a bigger role. Vitamins, a lot of it is your own search. So it's also quite variable depending on the category or the need. But for me, the partnership with our HCPs is critically important and something we will always build on, given our heritage too.
I also want to talk about not just the trust, but also the accessibility. I'm not in the pharmacy every day, so I'm not sure what the price points of Opella products are to other type of products. How is the perception of Opella products? Is it accessible? Is that by design, or is that just like in response to market conditions? Could you share about that a little bit? Because at the end of the day, Vietnam, emerging market, people are more price sensitive perhaps.
True.
Would love to hear from you about that.
We do have a variation of price points depending on the brand. I would say we can be more premium for a number of the brands we create. And partly that is because of the development that's gone into them, the science that supports them, and the quality that we produce too. So there is a cost associated with that. But I see in Vietnam, what tends to happen is consumers will pay for quality because there has been some scandals in the industry, and they want brands that they can trust will actually do what they say, and it's worth parting with my money to get it. So I think for health, I don't see Vietnamese scrimping so much. They will choose a trusted brand if they believe it works for them and their family. That said, a lot of our pharmacies will cut into pieces, say your Pharmaton.
Oh yeah, I was wondering about that.
So Pharmaton,
Yeah.
we just launched now in blisters to help the pharmacists, because maybe buying the whole box is too much, but the consumer would love it. But they will now be able, rather than trying to, it's not very
Oh, I didn't
hygienic to
realize
pull
that.
it out.
Yeah.
Pull it out of the bottle. Now they can just cut the strips. So if you only have today enough for the tablet and you're feeling down and you want your energy, our partners in the pharmacy are making that possible.
Okay.
And I think that's a great thing to be able to do.
It reminds me of a quick story. And by the way, we just have a few minutes left. But I interviewed a FMCG executive about a year ago, and he manages one of the largest soap brands in Vietnam. And he was telling me about the evolution of soap in Vietnam, where the lowest entry point is this single-use soap.
Yes.
Which 10, 15 years ago was the biggest seller. It's not as much anymore, but it's still very, very big, because that single-use pack is a lowest cost possible. Now, the cost per ounce is probably somewhat high, but the actual cost. But he said his team has mapped the evolution of different soap category from single pack use to a larger quantity to liquid soap to bar soap, all that, or bar soap then liquid soap. And it's gone with the evolution of Vietnamese consumer spend.
Wow.
Actually. And he's mapped it out over 10, 15 years.
I should talk to him.
And he didn't show me the specifics on the podcast, but he did tell me a little bit off the record. And it was quite fascinating to see how, as disposable income has jumped, GDP per capita has jumped, liquid soap is now like the king, right? Because if you can capture people's attention and consumer spend at that level, that's the highest value creation for brands and consumers.
Yeah.
But to get there, that's another big question.
But you're right. That's also a great example of kind of FMCG type thinking we want to bring to our industry.
I love that. Yeah.
So whether it's the single piece of your Pharmaton or for lactic acid, we don't have it yet, but we would want to have, your single sachet to get people to try it, to make sure they're looking after their baby skin or their intimate area skin in the best way possible. So I think that it removes the barriers to entry to get more people to try.
Oh, that's amazing.
So that's the kind of...
That just cracked something in my mind as you were explaining that. That's a very challenging concept to kind of ingrain within the team, your partners, and it's a multi-year effort. Which is my last question that I want to ask. 10 years from now, I want to hear how you think about fast-moving consumer healthcare in Vietnam. Where does Opella fit in that picture? Where do you want your team to be in the next 10 years?
I would love nothing more than Vietnam to be innovating for Vietnam, Asia, and beyond. And we're already starting. So 10 years from now, Hao, I am totally confident that we can do it, and in the process make self-care much more simple, much more accessible to every single person in Vietnam.
Amazing. Very well said.
I would love that.
I think, there's so much to do in the next 10 years. And by the way, I've been in Vietnam for 10 years now. It's my 10th year here. And I reflect on the last 10 years and a lot of accomplishments, but I do believe the next 10 years are even
more exciting.
Fun, more exciting.
I couldn't agree more.
So let's wait and see. Carol Ann Stewart, the AMEA president of Opella. Thank you so much for making your time here today. I know you're busy. You have 60 other colleagues waiting for you, making this Innovaction program happen here in Ho Chi Minh City. Anything else you would like to share, Carol Ann, before we wrap up? We do have to take a factory tour, though, too.
I think we should get you to the factory and the development center. Let's show you what it's all about.
Okay. Well, very good. Everyone, we're going to take a quick break and head to the factory next. That was Carol Ann Stewart. If you want to hear more of her insights, how her team thinks about FMCH in Vietnam and for the next 10 years, please do tune in for more programs with Vietnam Innovators. Thank you so much, Carol Ann, and we'll have you back on the podcast very soon.
Lovely. Thank you so much. Been a pleasure.